Welcome everybody to the PioPitch podcast. My name is Abby Werry. I'm an intern here at Marietta College and a rising junior at Kent State University, as well as the Civic leader through the Parkersburg Area Community Foundation. Today with me, we have Bill Wilkinson from MidOhio Valley Employment. Bill, welcome to the PioPitch podcast.
Abby, appreciate you having me on, and I'll be glad to answer any kind of questions you have. We got a lot going on in Marietta and Washington County pertaining to jobs and employment. I'm sure you're aware of that. So let's do this.
Well, thank you so much for coming. We're so excited. So kind of kick things off, can you kind of tell us what inspired you to start MidOhio Valley Employment in Marietta?
I've been a longtime business owner in Washington County. My wife and I are owners of Perry & Associates, which is a regional sized accounting firm, and being involved with a lot of other business owners in town, being on different committees, being on different boards, just out and about. One of the biggest concerns that I hear from business owners and us as well at Perry's was that it was getting very difficult to find quality staff or people that wanted to work in general. So there was a lot of frustration amongst business owners, and I thought, I've been doing the accounting thing for 25 years, and I thought, this is something that I could probably be pretty good at and could delve into, because one of the things I did at Perry's was a lot of the hiring and practices there. So MOVE was formed, MidOhio Valley Employment. We like to refer to it as MOVE.
So you kind of specialize, as you mentioned, connecting people with jobs that kind of fit their interests. How do you go about connecting those employees with employers?
That's extremely important to us here at MOVE, is getting that match between what an employee's skill set is and what they're looking for with what the employer is looking for. So an employer, I'll give you MOVE Staffing 101, and we'll go from there. So MOVE Staffing, how it works is you own a business, you're in need of staff, you call me and you tell me what you're looking for. We have people that come in on a daily basis that apply for positions, and we try to match those skill sets up. So for example, you call me and say that you need a front office receptionist, then we would go through our resumes and find people that have experience in being a front office receptionist, that have that skill set, but they also have that education. And then we also try to make sure that we think it's going to be a good fit for that company. So at MOVE, we have them come in, they have to come in, fill out an application, bring in their resume. We sit down, we give them a little, I would say, an upfront interview where we try to figure out what they're actually wanting to do and if their skill set matches with that. And then our job then at that point is to forward that information onto the employer, and then hopefully that person gets an interview and gets hired. It's a win-win for us if we can get the employee and the employer matched up and those skill sets match up in that scenario. So that's one of the things we're proud of, is that we vet the people that come in and really try to make a concerted effort to match those skills up.
So kind of part of that is retention with employers. You want an employee that stays for a long time. What are some of the challenges in this area with retention, and how do you kind of approach those challenges when it comes to trying to get employees to find a job that they really like?
I would say retention, honestly, as we are aware, is probably one of the biggest issues. And there's a multitude of reasons for that. And, just to be blunt, some of it could be as simple as work ethic. People, maybe they just don't want to work. Number one, what we've had in the past year has been, extremely difficult on a lot of businesses. Depending on who you talk to, there's people that believe that people are being paid more to stay at home and not work than they are working. But we're seeing that tide change. I think the type of work too, maybe that person wasn't matched up with a skill set or a job that they were really looking for. We see people with personal issues, with addiction issues, all the way down to I think one of the biggest problems is transportation. A lot of people that have had issues in the past have difficulties with transportation and being able to get to and from work. So that really kind of ties our hands as to what and where we send them. So retention, yes, big issue.
And as you kind of mentioned with the pandemic, so many people are starting to work from home. And from an employer standpoint, it's almost like they've let a lot of people go. They have sent a lot of people home over the past year. So now kind of emerging out of the pandemic, are we seeing more jobs opening, or how's that affected the job market coming out of that?
just in the last couple of weeks, because Ohio is one of the states that actually has turned back the federal unemployment portion from the pandemic. So we're seeing more businesses picking up with a lot of companies. We're seeing a significant uptick in people coming in to apply, which is good news for us. We staff from A to Z. So as I tell people, I send somebody, this week to a restaurant to wash dishes, all the way to I filled a CFO position, a six-figure position, a couple months ago. So we have a position for anybody that wants to work. I really believe that.
Kind of bringing it back to like the college students, I know like the daunting task at the end of when you graduate is finding the first job. So do you have any tips for like resumes or like building your resume or interviews or anything like that?
For somebody graduating from college, number one, if at all possible, do exactly what you're doing. Get an internship. I think that is a huge resume builder. Resume, make sure you spend your time, have a quality, accurate resume. You won't believe how many resumes I see that have sentences that make no sense, that are just very poorly written. That in itself, a lot of times is an automatic disqualifier. Internship, if you can, a really good resume, and get your references in line. Any kind of work experience is obviously positive.
And I know like some students like myself hope to own their business someday. So kind of as we're wrapping up, do you have any tips for aspiring entrepreneurs?
The biggest thing I think for them is do your research, get into something that you love to do, but also know what you're doing. The two biggest things, I know this sounds crazy, but maybe it's partially because of my background, but make sure you get yourself a good backroom help, which what I mean by that is make sure you have someone good on the accounting side of everything. I know a lot of businesses that have failed that have the entrepreneur, the owner is really, really good at what they do, but really, really bad at keeping track of the accounting aspects, paying their taxes, keeping their bills up to date. That stuff is extremely important. And I think the most important, you have to market yourself. Market yourself. There's a lot of companies I know that fail also because people just don't even know that they're open, or people don't even know that they existed. I've heard people say, well, I didn't even know that business existed. I don't now because they're out of business. But with all my companies I've owned, I'm marketing, whether it be Facebook, email blasts, newspaper, radio. I want everybody to know who I am within 100 miles.
Well, thank you so much for talking with us today. Can you kind of tell us where we can find you on Facebook and where your building is in Marietta?
We are located right downtown Marietta on the corner of Front and Butler. You cannot miss us. We're in the old Twisted Sisters building for people that remember that store. You can look us up on Facebook. You can look us up online. You can email us at info@movestaffing.com. And the easiest way to do it is give us a call at 373-MOVE-6683. We'd love for you to come in. As I said, if you're a company looking for employees, get a hold of us. We got some good ones. And if you are looking for a job or just looking to upgrade jobs from what you got now, give us a call. We can help you out.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Appreciate you having me, Abby. I always appreciate it.
Thank you.